Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 14th episode of MOV Leaders, a podcast where we are celebrating women leaders. We always commence the episode by mentioning a commendable work by a women trailblazer. In today's entrepreneur world, women are making strides. So I like to share a story in this platform. Suhani, along with her friend Karthik Mehta, co founded an amazing social enterprise company called Saral Design, so which was formed after they understood the poverty of people in accessing to the safe and hygiene sanitary experience. So the Saral Design Missions helps them to produce low cost affordable sanitary napkins to the low income family. After the broke of pandemic, they have reused the Saral design missions to produce three-ply masks, which are being used by the frontline workers. So once again, congratulations for the team for this commendable work. Today, we are going to see a very special guest. She is a great women leader, brand critic, entrepreneur, many more. And before inviting her to the show, I wanted to share few things about her. She is a passionate digital transformation strategist. Also, she has contributed a lot in brand advocacy techniques. She, along with programmatic media, have done a lot of these strategies for Fortune 500 companies in a commendable capacity. Also, she is so passionate about bridging the gap between digital innovation and the company business objectives. And she focuses on user product experience. Who else can be that other than Gauri Avasti? I'm so proud to welcome her to the show. Hi, Gauri. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you for that warm welcome and absolutely kind words. And I'm over and above excited to be part of this show.
Thank you, Gauri. Actually, you wear so many hats, right? When I read your LinkedIn profile or your bio, I don't know what to pick, what to leave, because something like you are a startup evangelist, you are an entrepreneur, investor mentor, brand critic, and many more. So, why don't you walk us through your exciting journey?
Sure, Cynthia. I think this has been a journey across 16 plus years now in the industry and has been really, really fascinating. What I have been able to achieve is keep on adding to it, keep on building up, and your learning curve, which is should never stop. So I believe in that, and you keep on adding to it while you are actually helping others out by imparting that knowledge too. So what I have been doing, so when I say mentoring is largely I have been instrumental in helping these young startup evangelists who are actually looking for some kind of guidance in terms of setting up their business plans or setting up their approaching an investor, to help them guide through what is their expectations, what's their strategy. So having said that, across the industry levels where I have worked, this helps me out sharing my experience and helping these young budding entrepreneurs to see the bright side of the corporate world. And
Amazing.
I have been instrumental also in leading some of the key brands across my career, and it's largely on the digital and technology side of things. I have been instrumental in working for Microsoft, where the launch of Windows 8 was done by me and my team. Nestle, where the Comeback Maggie campaign was part of my under my supervision. It was an exciting campaign. Then Samsung, I've been able to introduce so many flagship products under my leadership, starting from the S series and the notes and their tab and everything. And then,
Amazing.
moving ahead, it's always been just wanted. So, what I've tried been doing is I've never kind of wanted to be at one industry or this thing. Just wanted to have keep on. As I said, my learning curve needed to be increased to various other sectors also. So started my handling of clients from FMCG, retail, and other clients as well. So taking care of the brand part of Kaggle or Nestle or such kind of clients, and then largely with Fab India. So Fab India was instrumental in handling their India plus their overseas businesses. Have been working very closely with the influencers, uh, actually driving their digital brand from where they were and where they are now is kind of has been a good and an exciting experience in an overall. And I think everywhere, wherever the experience have been there, I have been lucky enough to been awarded with those for those successful assignments as well. Shortlisted in Cannes, having received pencils, Abbeys in Goa Awards, then NDTV SF Young Marketing Achievers Award. So all these awards have been adding up to the credibility of the work and the kind of work what I've done in the industry. So I think I am proud, but there is still a lot to be done. And as I really I believe on the saying that the woods are lovely, dark and deep, but there are miles and miles before I sleep. So I think there's a lot to be covered.
Great, Gauri. That shows your humbleness. In fact, talking about awards, you have so many of them, right? Like top 100 fast leaders by Paul Reiter and Oracle, top 100 smart digital marketers by World Digital Marketing Congress, and the consecutive edition in 2020 by the Global Federation of Digital Marketing, Global Digital Marketing. So many awards in the line for you. Seeing your journey in the digital space, I just wanted to understand what are the challenges and opportunities being a woman you have faced in this exciting 16-year fast track journey you had. And also, we like to really know from your learnings, like how women, upcoming women, can see this industry for them also to build their career.
So I think being a woman, which I am very proud of, and I've been always on a forefront and taking challenges and being very upfront with. For my point of view as well as my team's point of view, I have always been empathetic towards my team. I've always been uh, a people's person. However, I took marketing as my majors, but I was too good in HR also. And that's the reason that the delivery in terms of being on timely on and taking care of the brand side has been really smooth. Now, coming back to your question, that definitely the journey for being a woman has been difficult. There is, I would say, in the corporate sector, the equilibrium is just said, but it's not there because the kind of basic. No basic taboos which are there. So every month your cycles, and then you kind of trying to be there on time, and you kind to be trying to talk to your team and being responsible in terms of being this thing, then obviously getting married, and then getting taking care of your child, planning that sabbatical. So how I was able to do that is that definitely I was when I had conceived. So now this is a very exciting thing, which I think I've never shared on any of the platform. That I was instrumental in after having worked in the agency sides of things. I got the opportunity of working with a very good brand in Bangalore, and for that matter, in fact, the moment I took the offer letter and everything, right 10-15 days time, I got to know that I'm carrying, and now that came as a bundle of joy for us. However, we had plans of, but that point of time it was not no, we could have pushed it, but all said and done things were moving. But then the moment no, in the company, when the CEO came to know, I would try to skip the brand's name here, but just giving an experience here that the moment they came to know that this thing, there was all kind of pressure on me. There were a lot of morning hurdle calls and stuff, and and there was a lot of problem in terms of health issues also. So being a woman, I believe that um, I never dropped my balls there in terms of saying ki, no, okay, I can't take it. I did discuss these things. I said, okay, give me work from home. Unfortunately, the thing was that since I had recently joined, however, if this could have taken place after a 6 month thing, so I would have been given those kind of perks. And the board did not agree to it. And on health grounds, I had to leave the company with no comms of this thing. However, the CEO helped me out in doing whatever he could do best. But then what happened was in terms of that I started up doing taking being a guest faculty in various management colleges. I started working as an digital uh, consultancy as a consultant on a freelance basis, where I could justify my hours, and they were depending on the flexi hours. So what I'm trying to the point I'm trying to make here is that if you have that passion within you, if you are willing to kind of keep working and don't sit back, there is no work is less for you. You can take up any job. So you can idly go and give lectures. That point of time, I was going and taking bar camps in IIM Bangalore, where I was carrying 3 months and 4 months of pregnancy. I represented my husband's startup that point of time, and in Bangalore in one of the events, which was Silicon IT event, and I stood there, gave the presentation. So what I'm saying is, it's not that you don't. I kind of don't believe in that patriarchy that you can't come back. Definitely, I gave time to my son, and after a 1.5 years gap of sabbatical, I was openly called off by the leader Anjali for the role which was Microsoft's lead. So definitely there was a gap. Yes, the learning was a run of 1.5 years, but since I was working, so I was on top of things, and I could negotiate on the salary. I could come back from Bangalore to Gurgaon and Delhi. So what I'm saying is that things are there. Yes, definitely there is the difference of opinion. I believe things could have been worked out in a different way. I could have continued working with that corporate if the board had agreed, or there would have been a lady sitting in that board, or lady sitting in that class. So the
Right.
CTO, the CEO, or the HR head also, there was no lady there. So that's the thing which is still missing. That gap I see in still in India as companies grow. So that's the thing which I think moving forward, when we go and discuss that how I would look forward to my group of companies where I plan to be an entrepreneur. There should be no gap in between a woman or a man.
Right.
Yeah. So that's something. It's a kind of a learning which I would suggest to every aspiring woman, that if you have that kind of an aura, and you have that confidence, the passion to drive through, you can sail through any thing. It's just that that word sabbatical, or the taboo sabbatical, I didn't want it to show it even in my resume. Whenever I went for further interviews, I told them that I happily enjoyed my sabbatical while working and taking care of my child. Yeah.
So it's a very right thing, right, Gauri? In fact, even I just wanted to add upon to that. Even after you said like after 6 months or so, if it happened, things would have been different. Yeah, things would have been different. I would have continued working there. But what I went through, I'll just share with you.
Sure, sure.
When I was carrying, that is after 2.5 years of me joining the company. I was carrying, and of course, my manager and everybody supported. But the fellow, men and women, both men and women are there as colleagues, right? Everybody was saying, "Okay, now you cannot be head of marketing." I was like, "Why?" And because you have to take care of your kid, you cannot
Mm,
travel.
mm,
You will not be able to, go for late night events. Anyway, by 6th, 7th month, you may be wanting to work from home with such a big team and a function head. It's not possible. Maybe it's time for you to ask for a role which is light and not heavy. Otherwise, it will impact your child growth or it will impact your family. This thing, people will not like it. So I was like, why suddenly everybody is so interested on my family life and my health?
Correct.
Nobody was positive about like, yes, India, you can do it.
Correct.
Actually, I was looking for one person or one friend or one colleague to come and say, doesn't matter, Sandhya, this is all part and part. There are so many women leaders who have gone through this phase and you'll be able to do. In fact, I never had a doubt. But there was a chance like they would have instigated that doubt in me. But somewhat I never gave ears to all of those things. And I was
Sandhya,
always
uh, yeah, it's just a mindset. I believe people, that's what I said, that as a taboo, people think that if a woman has got pregnant, or if, so the woman can be a liability to a company rather than being an asset.
exactly.
So that
Right.
mindset needs to change in India, in the growing MNCs, in the companies. So your 90 days of paid leaves will not help you out in any
Correct.
of the organization. It's the
Correct.
post that, when your time needs to be there with the child. So like I shared my example, when I was leading Microsoft's account for being the digital head for and taking care of their global launches and in their India launches, I was working on two time zones because we had to coordinate with the team sitting in Redmond, US. So I used to come back. Anjali was quite a sweetheart. She was my CEO, my manager, and she said, as far as you are able to manage and stretch, I have no problems. I used to get out a little bit at 5:30 around from India office, come back, take a break, take my son, feed him, prepare that, and used to be on a mute while feeding my son and attending those calls. So it's just the way that how multitasking you are and you taking care of this thing. So similarly, if the leader is a multitasker, if the leader is trying to put in 10 to 12 or 14 hours of work during, I'm not saying that every day you sit late. You have a personal life. I used to ask my team that you please leave. You have a no family at home also waiting for you. Let's connect on a call. It is digital. It's a digital world. Let's
Correct.
connect on a call once you reach home. Then we used to be so you, even no. So there were people. There were my counterparts who used to get connected from Redmond and stuff, and they could hear my baby, no, making sounds and stuff. So and they were all excited that okay, so but she's trying to take care of the baby also and working also, and we had some successful launches. So I'm trying to say that there are reasons, there are sub reasons for everywhere, but if you have a solution for it, you will be able to do it.
In simple words, it has to be left to that person to
Absolutely.
decide how they are doing. And
Absolutely.
instead, others are actually assuming and making a call. In fact, while sitting for an interview before I got conceived, there were questions like, when were you planning to go on family way? At least 2 years, 3 years after will you go? I was like, how does it matter? So
Exactly.
doesn't matter, right? So long way to go on that. In fact, I read a LinkedIn data stat on this. Especially in digital marketing, still there is a 72% gender parity gap, as well as this parity gap widens in India compared to global level. So we have a long way to go, definitely on that. Have you ever seen, in your experience, there is a difference in leadership responsibilities for women compared to men? And what is your general, what is your general advice or suggestions for workplace to do better in accelerating women leadership in their org?
See, I completely believe in that. If you are looking at a top leadership positions, you need to have the level of woman leadership as compared to vice versa, the male leadership. I am not saying that we should not have uh, no woman leadership there or no male leadership there. It has to be a good balance and blend of this thing, because the woman itself, by natural instinct, she is a multitasker. So having a woman there on a leadership position, and the person can actually work with empathy with the people. They are very good with their finance management, because obviously they are taking care of household things. They
Correct.
actually are multitaskers. They can list down a couple of things and they don't need reminders. So if you are trying to be there, trying to set up that kind of a no ecosystem in your corporate, I think women leaders are one who are trying to make a mark in the industry as well as in the kind of industry where they are. So the disparity, right? It's actually there, because there at times you will see that a person is able to kind of convince or influence others who are there in the corporate sector, or and they are able to kind of and no kind of convince their counterparts that, hey, I am much better than her. But in comparison to that, there are other factors also which I think we should touch upon. There is sexual harassment in offices. There is this thing where your boss would try to intervene in terms of, if you are bright, sharp, aggressive, and you follow your mind and you don't follow your heart, obviously you will be tried. So I have kind of faced all these kind of things in my career zone. I have been offered in terms of that, why don't you, I can give you that kind of a position if you are able to make me happy in all kind of situations. So but how well you kind of are focused, and you know that you need to lead that position in terms of and how well you are trying to create that graph for you and for your team, because your team indirectly is looking up to you. So I believe that is something which is the equilibrium needs to be there. There has to be a proper kind of interaction. And what I follow as my success mantra is that I try to create a equilibrium between my professional and my personal life. So whatever discussions I have, or if I have, there is something, some thing which is bothering my mind or stuff, I would just walk up to my superior over a cup of coffee, go in the room and discuss it out, rather than it lingering in my mind and affecting my work. Similarly, if I'm coming back home, I would try to dust all my office tensions on the doormat which is kept outside my house. I would not want to carry it inside. Similarly, the problems which I have at home, be it my child's education, his falling grades, his excitement to go for more sports academy, the equilibrium there. So I would not try to take. I don't take office calls after a time limit which is 8:30 and this, because that's my family time. Saturday, Sunday is there, but Sunday is completely reserved for my family. So that's something which we as women leaders, or we I would say for male leaders also, we need to create that gap, because I think pandemic corona has actually taught us a big lesson in life also, that we need to be very close with our near ones. These are the guys who are going to be there. So that's something which I would want to suggest everyone, that do not procrastinate one duty for another duty. Try to balance that both. And as women, again I would say that we are multitasker, we can do it so well. So then why not just try to manage things. Try to take less of your tea breaks, coffee breaks, or even your smoke breaks. If you do that and try to manage this thing, because any which ways women waste less time as compared to men. So that I have seen in my team. The kind of tea breaks and the smoke breaks those guys would take, girls don't take. So we are being very productive to the organization or the brand we are working for.
So it's more of a cultural change also, right? There are a lot of
Correct.
for women to come up. See, as you rightly said, that we are today ready to multitask, manage home and office, and we are productive, right? It's a proven fact, scientific fact. We have mentioned in a lot of our previous episodes too. But what needs to be changed is something, the culture of the organization. A lot of unconscious bias happens. For example, like I have gone through in my 11 plus years of experience in here and there, in a meeting also, a lot of times you will not be heard. And a lot of times the way they respond to you, they will treat you as like one child, or that submissive nature, right, in a singular tone. or the tone will not be so distinct. But the same tone or aggressiveness shown by women will not be liked. And men can be very aggressive in men can be very aggressive in pointing out their views, but if women are strong in their views, it will not be, as a culturally, it will not be very acceptable. These are
Hmm.
all unconscious bias where the organization need to work on as a culture and educate them, and need to be an ongoing practice, right? So I'm sure that if all of us know today, a diverse team will have a better productivity,
Correct.
and this
Absolutely.
affects your top line and bottom line directly. So this unconscious bias need to be removed consciously so that women can feel more comfortable and rise up to their leadership position. As you rightly said, that leaders are either a women leader or male leader, they have to be made aware of how to treat women and how to give equal space for them to play their own
Absolutely.
game.
Absolutely.
So that's what it's all about. You were having a great, successful career journey in corporate, and you enjoyed a lot of success in that. But now you are trying out your journey as an entrepreneur, which is commendable, right? Especially through Digital Edify. So I wanted to understand where this entrepreneurial drive came, and how you moved your driving towards Digital Edify, Gauri. And also, I wanted to know what you wanted to tell to the young women aspirants who wanted to start up on their own.
So, I think that's a very well put question, Cynthia. So, now the idea of I have been working in brand side, I have been working in the corporates, and have been associated with a lot of brands on both the global as well as the Indian level. But the kind of I've always wanted to do something of my own, which would try to help me as well as help others, impart the knowledge which is there. So that's the reason that finally, one fine day I thought, let's move ahead, and Corona had affected the lives of people. So thought of that, why can't this be looked upon as an opportunity, and get the Digital Edify created to help others, retail sectors or retail brands and stuff. And the kind of knowledge, having worked with various other sectors, we can actually get put together the thought or the idea of setting this brand digital transformation business unit, which is known as Digital Edify. So with this, we also had other co-founders, other partners. We had a mentor to it, and we got into the journey of entrepreneurship with this first start of Digital Edify. And having said that, the Digital Edify tries to reach out to those corporates who are finding it very difficult in making their end meets during this global pandemic, which has not even stretched from 2020 now to 21. And I'm just crossing my fingers, but I would want to. That's a reality that it's going to eat up the entire 2021 also, because before we come up to that level of economy boosting
Right.
up to that kind of a system. So I think this. Being there, Digital Edify as the word means, it's an expert. So what we're trying to
Mm.
say is that we are your brand custodian. We would walk with your brand in terms of strategizing the entire business framework, creating that approach to growth hacking tips on performance marketing, or your programmatic, or your media buys, or suggesting you the digital transformation way. It can be via your how to set up your completely digital e-commerce setup, or via artificial intelligence, be it robotic and stuff. So that's the way, because since it's going too much into a robotic, too much into a digital transformation way, this also leads to your marketing automation. Because what I could understand now, because of the pandemic, people have reduced their workforce. People have kind of, so many of us and sitting in the industry, I could see, and people have reached out to me also on LinkedIn, that they have lost their jobs because of COVID. And now what is happening is that companies now, they are going forward for more on the relying on technology, which is largely would automate their business processes. So we
Correct.
would, being part of Digital Edify, help them out. Now, with that idea of having this kind of no, a moment wherein uh, there is a lot in the industry which is happening, and uh, products are getting created, there's a lot of, but there is no demand to it. Supply is there but demand is there, and people have been there's a lot of products talking about from the retail front, which are being lying in their stores, which have not been shipped because the obviously the footfalls have decreased. No malls are opening because of the tremendous lockdowns which are happening. So now what we came out with is that we launched a media lab in Digital Edify, and which was kind of helpful for couple of brands in FMCG or consumer durable industry, where they have a surplus of their products lying in their stores or their warehouses. They can actually create that they could sell that on MRP, and we could on demand, we could give them a barter deal of any media which they would want an MRP. So now this kind of an innovative thought process is actually helping the brands also, because their marketing budgets have slashed down. The problem, what we tried to do is that we created a solution for their problem. The problem was a lot of surplus of products lying in their warehouses. So what we came out with as an idea, that we will buy those products from you, and then with that volume and with that this thing, we will give you that the kind of media what you need. It can be media on digital, it can be media on print, TV, which actually, or even outdoor, which actually is lot of money, and money is something which nobody has now considering the pandemic. So that has helped with this innovative approach on Digital Edify's thought process by me, by other co-founders and partners, that we've been able to reach out to more brands, and brands have tried to reach out to us, both India as well as globally. We also have counterparts in US as well as Singapore. So that has tried to create a lot of branding for ourselves, and we've been busy helping them out. So we believe in quality rather than having too many clients and helping them out. We will take or discuss or together work with them on project basis or anything like that. So getting on to that operational level, we can work with the brand hand in hand, or we can actually work with brand's agency to lead to that growth of that corporate level. So all my learning so far working with brands, whether on the agency side or on brand side, doesn't matter, because you have to put your efforts with on either of the side of the table. On the brand also, you have to create a framework. At Fab India, I was the one who was creating the framework for how my digital strategy would look like, how the campaign launches would happen, and then it is going was distributed or shared with the agencies or our partners to deliver it, right? So that's one part of the thing on Digital Edify. So what we've done is on the, as I spoken about how Digital Edify helps the brands and stuff, we've put together a presentation which talks about the services and key, which I think we can show. Now, no thinking or talking about, there is never the time is never late for anything to start up. Rather than you thinking about it and no kind of thinking, oh, I should have done that. So regrets in life should not be there. As I always say, I hate regretting. So it's better always suggested that if you wish to do something, please go ahead with it. uh, you should, if there's a failure for any that kind of a project, there's always a good learning for it, why you failed and what are this thing. So it will always create that kind of a learning for your future prospects. And moving from one corporate to other, the situation of corona was already there in the industry, in the market, that people are not giving you good jobs, you're going to negotiate on salary, and no take a not a hike, but obviously take a low on your salary. Then why not? If you think that that entrepreneurship is there with you, please go ahead. There is no entrepreneurs is small, and I have seen that the government also is helping, especially the women entrepreneurs, the SMEs, the sectors. They are actually helping these guys out. The woman is there with and they are born multitaskers. So being an entrepreneur for a woman, it's not a difficult task. Trust me, just go about it. Just listen to your feeling, your and think it over. The mind and heart needs to meet up, and you can always go forward. Just keep remembering, keep think. You should be passionate about what you want to do, and you should go about with this thing. So I think that's a best advice which I would do, which I would want to give to the aspiring women entrepreneurs. Just what you feel about it, note down your ideas. Yes, I would always say this thing, that do a proper homework and a research before you come with an idea. Think of your friend who has never liked you, who has always been a critic to you. So go and reach out to the friend and ask him or her that this is my idea, what do you think about it? The more critics you get, the more negative points you get, is something wherein you need improvements in life, right? So I
Correct.
think that idea and that kind of additions to it would be better. So I have my hubby as my the best critic I could have. So we always discuss things over a cup of coffee, that this is what I'm thinking. We will have loud thoughts, we will have even fights over our point of view on our discussions, but that's all fair, because then at the end of the day you have one focused approach of where you're leading towards your career path. So that's how I would like to sum this up.
Definitely, a third eye is always good and better to consider. That's
Yeah.
amazing, Gauri. Wow, Gauri. Still, I have lot and lot more questions to ask you, especially on personal branding, the beautiful artisan initiative, the campaigns which is closer to your heart. So I think we need to continue this episode tomorrow also to ask all those questions to you.
Sure, I think it was, as I always say, that I can go on and on with the exciting journey, career journey which I have, and I've done a lot of it. It's always good to share your experience with others. That can be a learning for them.
So again, we both of us will see you all again tomorrow at the same
Sure.
time, 10 a.m.
Thank you so
Then
much.